Hey, did you know that the census is due this year on April 1st? And guess what? This time we can finally count as Caribbean. This year, all you have to do is 1. Check the race box, and 2. Write in your country of birth or ancestry. You can answer by the paper form, online, or by phone. Everybody counts in Census 2020. So count as Caribbean. Yes, we count.
Census 2020, come on and get counted. All your friends and your family, make sure they are counted. Census 2020, come on and get counted. Everyone must be represented. It's time to be counted.
Yes, folks, a very warm welcome to everyone. We are on Ride Along Live. My name is Jerry Hopkins, and of course, hosted by Ride Along Live, Junior George. And today is going to be a very special day for us. As you know, folks, those of you who are logged in, we do this once a month, every last Wednesday of each month. And we are doing a census awareness special. We say it's part 2. Today, we have some special guests that we are going to introduce to you shortly. But before I do that, let me recognize my co-hosts. I'm talking about Ms. Cheryl Vincent, the one who was there from the very beginning also, Mr. Edmund Sadio, who is not with us physically today. He's still recovering from illness. Let me also recognize, well, of course, I recognize Junior George early on. Mr. Ras Valley of Damage Band, who normally would provide us with sound and music, but we are not following that pattern today. And behind the scenes, I also want to recognize 2 people. Ms. Joan Myers, who's a recording artist and a content professional, who's been helping us a lot behind the scenes, and also Mr. Alton Amable of Tropical Fete, who's a creator and showcase of Caribbean culture. Folks, we are here for a special reason. And the special guests we have with us are Mr. Jeff Baylor. He is the U.S. Census Regional Director based in New York City. And before I go on to that, I also, well, yeah, let me go ahead with this. Jeff has been with us before, and he's here with us again to address the topic of the day, which is the benefits of the census and the issues of privacy regarding the census. So, later on, just a little later on, we'll have Jeff present for us. I also want to acknowledge and recognize Sister Nana Gayamfi, Executive Director of the Black Alliance for Just Immigration, Baji. She's here with us. And also I want to recognize Ms. Dion Blaze, a recording artist whose PSA we are going to be premiering today. This is the way, and it's an R&B hit, I would say, with a very strong message. But before we go into the nitty-gritty of this, let me have Ms. Cheryl Vincent, who is our resident recording artist, resident also registered nurse and community organizer, who is a co-host of this After Work Networking Wednesday. Let's have Cheryl now lead us in an opening prayer. Cheryl?
Okay, let us all pray. Father, Lord, we thank you for this evening. We thank you for the opportunity to come together again to network. And we invite your presence with us this evening, dear Lord, that you would guide the networking session. And may the information that is shared here this evening, first of all, motivate those who have not completed the census as yet to do so. And may we continue to find ways to work together to enrich our lives and enrich our community as well. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
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 Folks, just a little background information. What is After Work Networking Wednesdays? What are we about? And what are some of our expectations for this afternoon, this evening? ANW, the acronym for After Work Networking Wednesdays in Brooklyn, is about bringing ambitious people together established business owners, aspiring entrepreneurs, investors, community leaders, and elected officials from time to time. We bring them together to share best practices, promote their goods and services and their events and ideas, and to find ways and means to support each other. All of this is geared towards economic empowerment, personal development, and community upliftment. Of course, the census, being what it is connected to all of this, because it is through the census that we can take care of our needs in our communities, be they educational, health, business, roads and bridges, which we need for business as well. It's all connected. And that is why we have decided to focus this last 2 months on the census and to bring resourceful people, make them available to share with us information that can help to bring home the message of the importance of completing the census. It is my hope that as a result of today's forum, that for those who already know, they will have something else to do. Those who have already done it, they have a job to do as well. The focus today is the census and one's privacy rights. Also, census benefits people and businesses. How people and businesses benefit from the census. Mr. Baylor, as I said earlier, from the Census Bureau, would generally cover the two prongs of that topic, while Ms. Nana Giamfi would address the same two prongs of the topic, focusing on the concerns of undocumented immigrants, allaying their concerns as an attorney who is also herself an immigrant. It is also my hope that when we are done here, more of us will be convinced about the importance of completing the census. Also, it is my hope that those of us who are not documented would realize that it is safe to complete the census regardless of your status. And most importantly, that everyone who gets to participate in this live would take time to get at least 10 people that haven't done it as yet, who haven't completed the census as yet, to complete the census. This is not one of the challenges that I'm giving to our viewers and those who are listening and those who would view this live whenever, that you would go out there and find 10 people who are yet to complete the census and ensure that they complete the census. But without any further ado, folks, what I would like to do now is to welcome and invite Mr. Baylor to get into the nitty-gritty of the topic. Mr. Baylor, welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hopkins. It's an absolute honor to be here with you tonight, with all the fellow panelists, a true group of trusted voices, and it truly is my honor to be here tonight and share with you some information about the census. So where are we at right now? Brooklyn, 53.8% of the households in Brooklyn have gone online at 2020census.gov. They've called it in over one of the toll-free telephone numbers, or they filled it out on paper and mailed it back. So we have some work left to do, 53.8%. If you're one of those 53.8% of households that have completed your census, thank you. But we still need your help. And I want to talk about why in just a moment. But let me first start off with it's safe. We always talk about the census being safe, and it's important that people understand the protections with Title 13, as well as the information that our census takers are out there knocking on doors collecting right now. All the information I'm about to tell you is available at our website, 2020census.gov. We have fact sheets and posters and flyers on all of this information, easy to download, or if you want, we'll send you some materials if you'd like to share with your communities. So Title 13, this is a federal law that was put in place back in 1954. And Title 13 basically states that the Census Bureau can never release information that would either identify an individual or a household. So whenever we release our data, and it's available to everyone in the public, it's at a higher level of geography, at a city level, at a state level, at a county level, at a census tract level. It can never be at a level that could potentially identify an individual or a household. Local, state, federal law enforcement can never access our data at any time for any reason. That means local housing authorities can't access our data. IRS can't access our data. Homeland Security or ICE can never access our data at any time for any reason. And we've been taken to federal court numerous times over the past 7 decades, since 1954. The Census Bureau has won in federal court every time. There's never been a breach of Title 13. In addition, everyone who works on a census, from myself to our census takers who are hired for 4 to 6 weeks of work, we all take an oath of confidentiality. And that oath is for life. And that oath states that if we were to release information at the person or household level, we'll go to prison for up to 5 years. We'll be fined up to $250,000. We take your trust, the public's trust, seriously, because we know your trust is the foundation of getting a complete and accurate count. So please help share the word that the census is safe. From a health perspective, the census is also safe. I want to let you know, even though our census takers are out there knocking on doors, they must wear a face mask. We provide all our staff with masks and hand sanitizer. When they knock on your door, they need to back up 6 feet. There is no need for a census taker to have to come into your home. In addition, if you don't feel comfortable, you can give your phone number to the census taker. They can go back in their car or down to the street and call you immediately and collect your information over the phone. So if you're not comfortable from a health perspective, there are some options available, and you can still self-respond. You can still go online at 2020census.gov. You can still call our 13 different toll-free telephone numbers. For English, it's 844-330-2020, and you can respond right now. So again, I want to thank everyone who's already responded, but we still need your help in getting this message out. First off, that it's safe. Second, how easy it is. You can fill it out on your smartphone or a tablet, or you can call it in over a toll-free number. And how important it is. What's at stake for the next 10 years? And we talk about 2 key areas. We talk about representation at every level of government, and we talk about federal funding, dollars that are coming into your community for programs that are vital to you and your neighbors and your family members. So when we talk about representation, the number of seats that New York State will have in the next congressional delegation will be based upon the 2020 census. We want to make sure we keep all our congressional delegates. We need to make sure we have all our representatives because they represent us in Washington, D.C. New York State will use the 2020 census data to determine their redistricting efforts for drawing their voting precincts in school districts. Local governments, city governments will use this data to determine council member districts or assembly member districts. So it's important that the data is accurate because we want representatives who are serving us, serving our communities, to understand our needs and our challenges, and make sure they represent us in whatever role they may have. We know businesses use the 2020 census data. They use it to determine where they want to grow. Think about it, a new business, they want to go to someplace where they know they're going to have a customer base, where they have the ability to hire employees to work in one of their facilities. So it's important to businesses. But probably the key selling point, the one that resonates with most communities across this nation, are the hundreds of billions of dollars of federal funding that are disseminated every year based upon formulas that use census data. So these are for programs like Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps, TANF, WIC. It's for our infrastructure, repairing our roads, improving our mass transit systems, adding additional bus lines to our communities. It's for parks in our communities, community development block grants. All of those programs are based upon formulas that use census data to determine their funding. When we look at our children's education, from national school lunch and breakfast programs, Title I grants for supplies and computers, things for the classroom, Head Start, Pell Grants for college students. Again, all based upon formulas that use census data. And finally, I can't think of a more appropriate reason when we've seen the healthcare systems, strain over the past 6 to 8 months with COVID-19. Many of the funds that hospitals receive come from formulas that use census data. So it's the amount of hospitals in your community, emergency personnel, fire stations, ambulances, supplies for those emergency personnel. Again, it's all based upon formulas that use census data. There's a lot of key decisions are going to have to be made in the upcoming years. regarding the new normal, what life looks like after COVID, maybe how many vaccines a community needs. Let's make sure the people who are making those decisions have the best data possible to make the best informed decision possible. The way to do that is to fill out your census at 2020census.gov. And I'll close with this, a very simplistic example, but I think it's something that really explains how important this is to our communities. Let's take an example. Let's imagine you have a school in your neighborhood, a school of 100 kids. And let's say in the 2020 census, only 80 of those children get counted. So 80 of those 100 kids get included in the 2020 census. For the next 10 years, that school is going to get 80% of the funding it deserves. And it doesn't just affect the 20 kids who weren't counted, it affects all 100. They have to do more with less. The needs of that school isn't reduced by 20%. The needs are the same. The resources to fulfill those needs are reduced by 20% if people don't fill out their 2020 census. So please share this information. All of you are the trusted voices, whether it's to your, as Mr. Hopkins said, to your family and friends, reaching out to 10 people to find 10 people who haven't responded and get them to respond. Whether it's at your place of employment or your house of worship, share the message. Let them know the census is safe. Tell them how easy it was for you to fill it out, that it took 5 minutes, that we don't ask about citizenship status. We don't ask for money or social security numbers. Finally, let them know how important it is that this 5-minute investment by going online right now at 2020census.gov will last the next 10 years. 5 minutes, 5-minute investment for the next 10 years. So we need to make sure everyone, every community, every household across New York City and throughout Brooklyn fills out their 2020 census. So thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity to talk a little bit about the safety and the importance, and I look forward to our discussion tonight.
You know, we had Jeff here before, and I should treat him though as if he's here for the first time, because some of you maybe were not with us the last time. Jeff is the original director of the U.S. Census Bureau, He's the original director of the U.S. Census Bureau office. He's based here in New York City. And he's taken time from a very tight schedule to be with us, and we really appreciate that. Thank you again, Jeff. We look forward to you filled in some of the questions later. Now I turn to a lady who's all the way over on the West Coast. I'm talking about Ms. Nana Gayampe, and she's an attorney at law. She's also the executive director of BADGI, and she may tell us a little bit about BADGI and also treat the subject at hand. Welcome, my dear sister.
Thank you so very much. Thank you for inviting me. Jeff, thank you. You laid out, some of the pieces that people really need to be thinking about as we are making the decision to complete the census on behalf of ourselves, our families, and our communities. I am the executive director of the Black Alliance for Just Immigration. We are the largest Black-led immigrant rights and racial justice organization in the United States. We educate, we advocate, we organize on behalf of the 10 million Black immigrants and refugees in this country and our families. I am in Los Angeles, but BADGI is headquartered in Brooklyn, right there on Fulton Street. And we are also in Miami, in Atlanta, in Los Angeles, in Oakland. We have staff in Minneapolis and staff in Houston, and we have other partners that are Black immigrants and African Americans across the country. Along with the work we do on behalf of Black immigrants, we also work with African Americans to fight for racial, social, and economic justice. Census for us is a part of that. We see census as a tool for racial justice, as a tool for social justice, and as a tool for economic justice. And we're always glad to be able to have the opportunity to talk about that from the Black immigrant lens. So I want to first address and maybe do more on the issue of safety, because I think that Jeff has laid out for us why it is that the census is important. We don't come here to this country so that we cannot take advantage of what this country has to offer. And certainly we want to take advantage of the funds that we put in to the national pocketbook, right? And so when we're talking about the money that is funding houses, that is housing, that is funding school, by housing I mean like public housing, right? That's funding schools, that's funding roads, that's funding hospitals. When we talk about the money that's funding these SBA loans that people have been trying to get that business off the ground, or to help them with respect to what's happened with COVID, when we're talking about how we get this money comes from taxes. And we know that we have our undocumented family members and friends who are working and who are paying into the system one way or the other, and who deserve and who should be getting back from what they put in. And so this money that we're talking about in terms of funding is not money that is, something that we should have to do a bunch of hoops and loops to get and to be able to benefit from. And this is why the census is something, we call it 10 for 10, that at most, even if you're a Black immigrant who is not English speaking, you got to do a little bit of translation. You need some help with that, which the census also provides for some languages, that it still is not going to take you more than 10 minutes. And that those 10 questions that take you at most 10 minutes are going to give you 10 years of benefit. If you have a child that's 8 years old right now, that child is going to have to live a life that's designed by your failure to, or your agreement to, an actual completion of the census. And of course, we want our children to have that 10 years be defined by the fact that we completed the census and we made sure that we were counted. Many people ask us, it's the question that we get the most is, what about if you're undocumented, and what does that mean? And Jeff has laid out sort of legally what's allowed and not allowed, and asking our people to remember that people who are in the Census Bureau are professionals. Like, these are not people that have an axe to grind. These are not people who are out to get immigrants. These are people who are civil servants doing a civil service work, and they're very prideful about that work. If you talk to people that work for the census, they take the fact that they keep this information private very seriously, other than the idea of getting in trouble, right? Even if they wouldn't get in trouble, they take it seriously as a point of pride. And so I think it's important for us to know that and for us to note that. But I also say, because, there's some of us, and I'm not mad at them, that say, wait a minute, we've seen a lot of lawlessness on behalf of the government, right? With sometimes we've seen people that don't care about the law that work in the government. So I don't know if I want to trust the government's word on that. One of the things that we say to folks is, I'm talking to you right now, you're on a cell phone. You're using WhatsApp. You're hitting us up on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. You are already in the system. Like, you're not living somewhere in the middle of the forest with no way of communicating with the outside world. If you go outside in your corner, there are cameras on the corner. There's cameras in front of the businesses. Like, we want to be undercover in some cases, but we're really not undercover. And so filling out the census does not make your life 1 centimeter more dangerous, but it does make your life more fulfilling. It does allow you to have more that happens to your benefit in your life, right? And so you're not actually risking anything because you're out here in the world with the rest of us, but you are gaining a lot, and not just for yourself, but for your family members and for our communities, as Jeff has pointed out. So that's the first thing that I would say. The second thing that I would point out is that we as BAJI and other organizations are really pressing to make sure that your privacy is honored. And so we were one of the plaintiffs in the lawsuit that sued this United States government, the Trump administration, when it tried to get a citizenship question, and we won. So there is no citizenship question because organizations such as BAJI, who was a plaintiff, pressed to make sure that that didn't happen. And we've continued to press and to work directly with the Congressional Black Caucus. I can let you know that the folks in the Congressional Black Caucus that represent Brooklyn and other areas of New York City have been really, really good about making sure to keep our people safe when it comes to the census, with having in mind our folks who are undocumented. So this is something that's not on the back burner. This is something that's on the front of mind, right? Your safety is on the front of mind of Baji, and it's on the front of mind of folks in the CBC. It's on the front of mind of folks that are in local government. When we're having conversations about census, that's the first thing that gets on the table. How do we make sure that we hold folks accountable to make sure that our people are safe and that we're not asking our people to take a risk, right, unnecessarily? And so people need not be worried, need not be concerned. You're not out there on your own. You're not doing something where you're, falling off the ledge. We are there with you, your families, your communities, organizations such as Baji, as well as your representatives and other folks, including Mr. Hopkin and others, who are pushing and pressing and making sure that we have your back. And we want you to be clear about that, because what we're talking about now is too important. The other thing is that we need to know the count of undocumented people. And I'll end with this, because we fight with you for you to be able to get the relief that you deserve, for you to be able to get the access to benefits that you deserve. And in order to do that, we have to be able to say, yes, we need driver's licenses for people that are undocumented, because we have so many undocumented people. And in our case, we want to know that we have Black undocumented people and where people are coming from in general that are Black immigrants. And so we need for you to fill out the census so that we can have that count and show our power, right? That includes you. You are part of our power. We don't have that power unless we have you counted. And so we're asking you to keep us strong by making sure that you're counted. And by doing so, by checking Black, for example, on the census, but also marking where you're from. So if I checked Black, when I did it, I checked Black and then I checked Ghanaian, right? Even though I was born here, my parents are from home, I lived for a time and came back. My son, who is a next generation behind me, he checked Black, he also checked Ghanaian, right? So we call that check Black plus. So check Black and then check other things, right? So we make sure, again, that we count, that our Black counts, and that we use that power that we have, which includes you, includes folks who are from the undocumented to folks who are the new citizens and your children. We need everyone to be counted, from the baby that was just born, right, to the elder. And so we're asking you to do that, and to do that as soon as possible. Use the online possibilities, use the phone possibility, but make sure that you're counted.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So well put, well illustrated. Folks, it is about us. It is in our best interest to do what we need to do. And those of you who are logged in the Caribbean, you might be saying, well, why are these folks, why is Ride Along sending this thing out there to us? We are not in America. Folks, we are all connected. Those of you in the Caribbean who depend on your relatives here, who send the funds with Western Union and MoneyGram from time to time, if their needs are not being met here in Brooklyn, they might be less able to send you as much as they have been. It's so important. So if you are listening right now and you think your relative in New York or California or wherever might not be listening, it is incumbent on you. It is your responsibility to call that relative and say, listen, have you completed the census as yet? I was just looking at this Ride Along live after Work Networking Wednesdays in Brooklyn with Hopkin and the other guys. And they're saying that you need to, because you're going to lose out if you don't. And I want you to be able to take care of me. So you better do what you need to do. So folks, we all have to pay attention. We all have to be a part of this. It is all about us in the diaspora. We are connected. What we're going to do now, we have Dion Blaze with us. And I'm so happy that Dion decided to join the team in this census awareness initiative. and to make a contribution in song. And she did something really special with the R&B, with a little touch of hip hop in it, a little crossover thing there. And I mean, I fell in love with it. But I want Dion to tell us why she got involved in this and what this means to her. Dion.
Well, I learned a lot from the after work networking event for the Census 2020, because I was ignorant to a lot of things. And I didn't realize how many benefits are available to us from filling this out. So, Jerry, when you asked me to be a part of the process, I was very pleased, overjoyed, and I feel honored to be a part of this process. And so I was kind of uncertain about what I would write about. I was like, I loved Cheryl's jingle and Jones, and I'm saying, well, we've got soca covered, we've got reggae covered. Now Jerry wants me to do an R&B. And I was like, what can I write about? And then after last month's conference, after I heard Jeff's points, after I heard Congresswoman Yvette Clarke's points, it's a light bulb went off in my head. And that was it. The rest was history. Lovely. I was a part of the Jerry and I were a part of the Black Lives Matters rally. We were right there, you know, with all of the people's frustration and anger, us too. And, you know, like Jeff said, and like this beautiful lady, I'm so sorry if I didn't catch your name, but
Nana.
It's connected. Oh, thank you. It's connected to Black Lives Matter. It's all connected. So with that being said, if you listen to the lyrics, I incorporated a little bit of everything that resonated with me. Even though all the points were valid and we had great speakers, I incorporated what resonated with me the most in this jingle. So I hope everybody enjoys it.
Yes. Dion, I must say that you did an absolutely amazing job. I loved your jingle, and I'm so happy that you came on board with us to do this.
Thank you so much, Joe. Well, you know I love soca because I represent Grenada, so you don't know already. Every time I hear your jingle, I want to dance.
Yeah, great job.
I get excited.
So, ladies and gentlemen, and to all the youths out there who love your hip hop and your R&B, well, we are going to premiere Dion's special rendition right now. Her PSA. Junior, take it away.
Yeah. We all need to represent each other, encourage every sister and brother. If we want respect, got to show we matter. Complete the census to make things better. There's no trick behind the census. Not taking part is truly senseless. Doesn't matter what's your status, being counted is what matters. If you're tired of clouds turning gray, we can make a brighter day. This is the way, the only way. If you really want your voice to count, go ahead and fill the census out. This is the way, the only way. If you want your voice to be heard, go ahead and spread the word. This is the way, the only way. If you really want your voice to count, go ahead and fill the census out. This is the way, the only way. Hi, I'm Dion Blaze. We have the power to make a difference. There's so many benefits to reap by participating in the 2020 census. Better programs, more housing, jobs, and so much more. It's not too late. Log on to my2020census.gov to complete the process. So go ahead and get counted.
Nice.
Yes, folks. Let's give her a round of applause, folks.
Right?
That was Dion Blaze. And by the way, Dion Blaze is an experienced veteran recording artist. And you can check her out, check her website, DionBlaze.com. And folks, while we're on the subject of PSAs, for those of you who missed it last month, we're also going to let you see what we premiered last month, what we launched last month. And we had a reggae All About Us by Joan Myers. Joan Myers is formerly the lead singer of Grace Thrillers, one of the leading gospel groups out of Jamaica, who is currently a solo artist singing gospel and doing special ministry with music. and she got some help from her brother Benji Myers, big veteran reggae artist. He laid down some of the music and that, and worked with her on it. And we are happy that we have this. And now we hear Joan Myers, All About Us.
Whoa, yeah. Gathering basic data from one another. This includes your next door neighbor. Keeps account of a mother, a father, a sister, or a brother. Census 20 will benefit, yes, all of us. Census is all about us. No need to fear, forget the fuss. It's the right thing to do. Keeping a balanced count of me and you. It's all about us. No need to fear, forget the fuss. It's the right thing to do. Keeping a balanced count of me and you. All right. So, stand up for what you believe by enrolling. Now is the time. Now is the time. Let's get rolling. Show some self-love. Log on to my2020census.gov. Census is all about us. No need to fear, forget the fuss. It's the right thing to do. Keeping a balanced count of me and you. It's all about us. No need to fear, forget the fuss. It's the right thing to do. Keeping a balanced count of me and you. All right. All right.
Okay, folks, there you had it from Joan Myers. And we're going to go straight into Cheryl Vincent. But Cheryl is here, so I will let her introduce her PSA. Cheryl, tell us a bit about what inspired you.
Okay, well, as Dion mentioned, I never really knew before the many benefits of completing the 2020 census and how much it affects all the things that we enjoy, you know. And after Jerry approached me with the idea, I jumped on board because I wanted to help spread the message. And I'm very, very honored also to be a part of this initiative. And, here's my jingle in soca.
Census 2020, come on and get counted. On and your family, make sure they are counted. Census 2020, come on and get counted. Everyone must be represented. It's time to be counted. If you want a better community, get counted. And a better future for you and me, get counted. If you want better opportunity, get counted. We must fulfill this responsibility. Better programs for our children. Better schools and housing too. We need the resources, so let's join forces. This is something we all must do. Census 2020, come on and get counted. All your friends and your family, make sure they are counted. Census 2020, come on and get counted. Everyone must be represented. It's time to be counted. Census 2020,
yes, my people, it's time to be counted. Regardless of your immigration status, if you have not done so as yet, please go to my2020census.gov and complete the process. so that you can be counted and our community that we deserve.
Census 2020.
Yes, folks, there you had it from all three. Cheryl, congratulations.
Yay!
Again.
All right,
Thank you,
Cheryl.
Jerry.
And
Thank you, guys.
Joan Myers couldn't be with us today, but earlier on she wanted me to say hello to everyone. And Joan, Cheryl, and myself, we have been doing quite a bit. It's been quite a campaign. We've been on so many radio stations. I've lost count. Where we have gotten the song into rotation on several stations in Florida and New York, especially. And they've been inviting us for interviews, and we've been sensitizing people, making them more aware, raising awareness, so that more of our, or especially our African Americans or Caribbean Americans and our Latinos or Hispanic brothers and sisters will come out and complete the census. And you know, some might be wondering, well, what inspired me to do this? Basically, I saw some serious problems looming. The losses which our communities would suffer for the next 10 years if we are undercounted, as Mr. Baylor pointed out, and also as Ms. Gyamfi pointed out. And I decided to come up with some solutions, and which is what we are seeing here today, using music in our voices and in our beats, sung by folks who look like us, and who speak our language, to raise awareness of the importance of completing the census. In addition to sharing these jingles, we have been making the rounds, like I just mentioned, in various radio stations, and we have been speaking to people one-on-one, getting them to appreciate the fact that it is very important that we complete the census, and we are not doing it to please the government. We're doing it for ourselves, because really, as was pointed out by Sister Nana, we all pay taxes in one form or another. We all pay taxes, and the federal government collects it. But guess what? But guess what? We are only going to get back what we deserve and our part of it if we complete the census. Because the folks who are completing the census, their communities get more monies than we do. So they're getting monies that we should be getting when we don't complete the census. So if you want to get what you paid into that pool, into that pot, into that coffer. And if you want to get your fair share of it, you better complete the census. That is your way of basically going to the bank to get what's yours, completing the census. It's your way of getting the interest, the dividends, and what you have contributed to it. And if we do not do it, we are walking away. We are walking away on opportunities and bringing losses and devastation to our communities for the next 10 years. Remember, 10 long years, we are going to be stuck with these stats. Mr. Baylor pointed out that in Brooklyn, we are way, way below. The national average is much higher than that. And if you look at the communities in Brooklyn, you would notice that the communities that are mostly populated by Blacks and Hispanics have the lowest response rates compared to those that are mostly populated by whites and Jews. I'm saying it like it is. I'm not mincing my words. It is a fact. In our Black neighborhoods, we are behind. We are below. We need to get busy. And that is why I'm challenging everyone who is listening here this afternoon, everyone who is listening here this evening, regardless of where you are, whether you're in the US or in the Caribbean or in Africa or in Europe, call your relatives and friends in the US and tell them to get busy. They have work to do. They need to cash in on the deposits they made through the taxes they paid. It's about time. So folks, what we're going to do now, we're going to see if there are any questions, and if there are any. I know someone was curious about stats. Mr. Baylor, would you mind starting it off by telling us a little bit more about the national stats? Where is Brooklyn in relation to, or New York City in relation to most of the US right now?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, you can find these data at 2020census.gov. Click on Get the Facts and Response Rates. And every business day at 3 o'clock, we update the self-response rate. So nationally, we're at 64.6% complete as of 3 p.m. today. New York City's at 57.4%. 46.1%, so below the national average. And Brooklyn is at 53.8%. So we have some room to grow. And it's important to note we only have till September 30th. That's when the census data collection ends, whether it's our census takers knocking on doors or whether it's you going online or calling one of our toll-free telephone numbers. And we're sending out some more paper questionnaires. We started that late last week, and we'll continue to do so into early September. So take advantage of it now. And it's important to note, it's not the date that you're filling it out that matters. It's April 1st, 2020. We're asking you who lived at that address as of April 1st, 2020. So the sooner you fill it out, the better off you'll be.
Lovely, lovely. And would you also mind sharing those the number, the 800 numbers you mentioned, or one of them at least?
Yeah. So for English, it's 844-330-2020. And again, what I would suggest is go to our website at 2020census.gov. You can see a listing of all 13 toll-free telephone numbers that we provide, one for each language. We also have video guides in 59 languages where you can see how to fill it out online in your native language. So check out the website, and you'll notice on every page there's a little button that says respond. At any point in time, you can click on that button, and it'll take you right into my2020census.gov where you can fill out your census right then and there.
Lovely. Sister Nana, how are things looking over there on the West Coast?
So on the West Coast, we are pushing, but still having nationally, I think, the same issue with respect to Black migrants. Many of us are essential workers. You know, we know that Black people in general, including Black immigrants, were disproportionately impacted by COVID, both in terms of employment and in terms of health and death. And so that has had an effect on people's enthusiasm with respect to the census. But we are pushing forward, and we are providing additional resources for people to be able to help them to fill out the census. We have language access, and we know most of the folks that watch this show may be Caribbean, but we also know that there are going to be some continental Africans and others that are watching. We want to make sure that people know that Baji is doing our best to be able to help with language access. If you are interested in getting more information or in getting help, you can reach out to us at census@baji, which is spelled BAJI.org. So census@baji.org. If you're interested in getting some questions answered from trusted Black folks in your community about the census, you can contact us at census@baji.org. If you want help with information that you can use to share the gospel of census and make sure that other people in our community are being counted, you can reach out to us at census@baji.org. If you need website banners for your business website, if you need graphics, physical postcards or postcards, graphics you can put in your social media and can share on WhatsApp, you can hit us up again on census@baji.org. You can follow us on Twitter at Baji Tweet and at InstaBaji on Instagram. These are all ways that you can grab some of the information that we have and use that to share, but also reach out to us to get some questions answered. For us, again, we remember that when the census first started in the 1700s, Black people were considered 3/5 of a person. So we were counted at 60% of our population. And now that we are not chattel and we are not enslaved, right? We're not considered that anymore. We should at least break the 60% mark, if not counting ourselves at 100%. So across the country, from LA all the way through to Brooklyn, we need to make sure to get it done.
Certainly. Well put. And folks, I want you to know that, here in New York, those of us in my team here, Cheryl Vincent, Joan Myers, who's all the way in Florida, and Alton Amable and Right Along Junior has been working with us too. We have been doing it, and we see redemption in doing it. You get a great feeling of relief when you meet somebody who hasn't yet done it, and you get them to do it. You feel that you've made a difference. And I would like to encourage all of you out there, accept the challenge. Find at least 10 people who haven't done it as yet and help them too. It might be helping them to complete it on your iPad or the smartphone or the computer, the laptop, or giving them the number so they can call and log in online, my2020census.gov. Please do it. It's for us. It's about all of us. And
can I just add something quickly,
Jerry?
yes, please do.
Just really quickly, we're also doing text banking and we're doing phone banking, and we will help you. We will give you scripts. We will plug you in so that you can reach 100 people at a time. Again, connect with us, census@baji.org. If you are interested in volunteering, we need all the volunteers that we can get because the time is a ticking towards September 30th.
Lovely. Lovely. And I personally, I'm one of the people who will be working with Baji here in New York because I acknowledge that they are making a difference, and we need organizations such as Baji to help to make a difference in the numbers out there. Folks, those of you who are listening, please, I know most of the folks who are listening, to be honest with you, I'm sure the majority of our viewers and listeners have already done it because they are the ones who care enough to want to see this. But it is incumbent on you folks who have already done it to go out there and bring others and send the link of this live, copy the link and send it to them so they could look through this and be aware of the benefits, be aware of the safety and the privacy issues that they are protected. It's solidly protected, and maybe all of that would come together to make a difference. We are getting close to the end of this.
Jerry,
what I'm going to do.
Jerry,
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, before you move on, I just wanted to read a comment from one of the viewers. Her name is Erica Brooks. She said, I was scared of doing it, but my pastor explained it to the congregation, but you guys explained it even more clearly. So, Erica, I hope that you go ahead and complete that census and encourage everyone else around you to do the same.
Thank you very much. Those are the kind of, we're in church here, folks. That's a testimony right there. Okay then. Yes. So we're gonna get close to wrapping up here. What I'm gonna do now is just make a run through and ask all of the panelists. Jeff, we're gonna begin with you, just to give us some closing words and words of encouragement and any instructions you have.
Yeah, I love something Nana said earlier when she talked about the census as power. It truly is. This is the power to ensure your needs are understood, your community is understood. And if people don't take the time to fill out their 2020 census, they become invisible. Their needs become invisible. The diversity of the community lessens. This is a once in a decade opportunity we get. And we need to count everyone living in the United States. So please talk, tell everyone you know, talk to your friends, family, those you work with, those you worship with. Let them know the census is safe, that it's protected under federal law. Tell them how easy it is, that it only takes 5 minutes, and we ask basic information. And finally, let them know what's at stake for the next 10 years. It's been an absolute honor to share the stage with each of you tonight. The music was amazing. I can't tell you how much you inspire us at the census to make sure we do everything that we can to ensure we get the most complete and accurate count. So thanks to all of you.
Thank you so very much. Thank you, Jerry, for inviting me. I'm so excited that, I'm sitting up here trying to keep my head straight so I'm not just dancing to these jingles because they're so good. They're so good, and we're so glad to be working with all of you on this campaign and making sure that the word goes out. I would say and remind our people that we want to make sure that we count when we talk about Black Lives Matter. And I want to go to what my sister said earlier, right? When we talk about Black Lives Matter, that includes Black immigrant lives. That includes Black undocumented immigrant lives. All of our lives matter, every single one of us. And so we want to make sure that we are counted, that we count ourselves. It's an affirmative step. It's not someone coming and counting you. It's you stepping and saying, I count. And we want to make sure that you understand that you can do that. Feel free to do that. We're asking you to do that. And then, as I said, to spread the gospel of census and to make sure that others are doing so as well. If you want to volunteer, census@baji.org for more information, census@baji.org. Get counted before they come knocking on the door to count you. If you're really that concerned, take the affirmative, proactive step, and we'll be right there with you. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you very much. Dion.
To commend you, Jerry, before I say anything else, on this marvelous, wonderful work that you're doing. I think it's amazing. I love all the speakers. Like I said, I learned a lot. I was ignorant to the fact when I received the census the last time, I put it on the pile with the regular junk mail. But you know, I've been enlightened. I've been awakened to the fact of the knowledge of what it represents. And I am very proud as well as privileged to be able to be here, to be a part of it. And I'm so happy that you included me, as I told you before, to write this jingle. And if it can just change one person's mind, then I've accomplished greatness. I've accomplished a lot. So with that being said, thanks again, Jerry. Thanks to all the speakers, Cheryl, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Just happy to be here. Yeah.
Cheryl, you're going to give the thank you.
Yes, thank you, Jeff and Nana, for being with us here this evening and for breaking it down and helping us to really understand the importance of completing the census. Thank you, Dion, for your amazing job on the PSA jingle again. And I want to thank everyone that joined us this evening. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us. I hope that you share this information with everyone that you know and ensure that they complete the census as well. Thank you also to Junior George for having us on your program. And please complete the census. We're doing all of this to motivate you to complete the census. The PSA jingles, as fun as they are, if we don't accomplish what we have set out to do by motivating you to complete the census, then we have failed. So please, share the word. And until the deadline is here, we need to keep pushing this message and make sure everyone completes the census. Thank you all so much for joining us, and we'll see you again next month.
Thank you very much.
Back to you, Jerry.
And I would thank you so much. I would also, as in closing, I want to again acknowledge our brother and lift him up in prayer, Brother Edmund Stadio, who is one of the co-founders of After Work Networking Wednesdays, and who's also the chairman of the Caribbean American Chamber of Commerce and Industry. He's been ill for a while, and he's going through recovery, taking a while, so we keep him in our prayers. Okay. And I just want to thank also everyone who was here, and Junior has been doing this with us since March, since we have not been able to gather physically as we used to. He's been hosting us virtually, and we really thank him for that. And this is his part in this census awareness initiative, and he's doing other things with other people as well. But for this initiative, we say thank you to you, Junior. Folks, we're doing this all the way to the end. We have two more PSAs, one for Spanish-speaking brothers and sisters and Latinos. But Bachata, we have 4 more weeks, just over 4 more weeks. We'll be doing it all the way to the wire, down to the last day. We're going to be knocking on doors. We're going to be helping people, getting them, distributing flyers, posters, trying to get them to complete this process. And so we have a Bachata that's coming. And we also have Pompa in Creole that's coming. So again, it's in our languages, in our voices, in our beats, in our rhythms, communicating in an identifiable way that all people can register and resonate with, and hopefully making a difference. So far, it has been. So may God bless all of you who tuned in with us, who logged in with us. Folks, I say don't vote. Do all you can to increase the number of people completing the census in our communities. Remember, networking matters and it works, and together we are stronger. May God bless us all. Amen.
All right.
Have a blessed week, everyone.
Census 2020, come on and get counted. All your friends and your family, make sure they are counted. Census 2020, come on and get counted. Everyone must be represented. It's time to be counted. If you want a better community, get counted. And a better future for you and me, get counted. If you want better opportunity, get counted. We must fulfill this responsibility. Better programs for our children, better schools and housing too. We need the resources, so let's join forces. This is something we all must do. Census 2020, come on and get counted. All your friends and your family, make sure they are counted. Census 2020, come on and get counted. Everyone must be represented. It's time to be counted. Census 2020.
Yes, my people, it's time to be counted. Regardless of your immigration status,
Census 2020, come on and get counted. All your friends and your family, make sure they are counted. Census 2020, come on and get counted. Everyone must be represented. It's time to be counted. If you want a better community, get counted. And a better future for you and me, get counted. If you want better opportunity, get counted. We must fulfill this responsibility. Better programs for our children, better schools and housing too. We need the resources, so let's join forces. This is something we all must do. Census 2020, come on and get counted. All your friends and your family, make sure they are counted. Census 2020, come on and get counted. Everyone must be represented. It's time to be counted. Census 2020.
Yes. Life is a ride. Life is a ride. Life is a ride. Life is a ride along. Welcome to the experience. Welcome to the journey. Welcome to the journey. A movement. This is Ride Along Live, where everyone has a story to tell.